Welcome everyone, Marcelo is my name. I am the niche fragrance collector. I love Orto Parisi, I love Alessandro Galtieri, and I'm continuing my conversation on this amazing line of perfumes. Before I commence though, think of Italy. I'd love you to think about a memorable landmark in Italy or something, or a particular town or city in Italy. What comes to mind? I'm going to say that most people will think of Rome or the Colosseum, will think of the Statue of David in Florence, Tuscany, its hills, Venice, the gondolas, Milan, it's shopping. That's all in the north. So what about the rest of Italy? What about down in the south? Does anything come to mind? Again, you may think Sicily. That's true, it's really down south. Alessandro Galtieri's grandfather was from the south of Italy. The whole Orto Parisi range is really I guess a love letter to his grandfather. I mean, the two words Orto Parisi is basically my grandfather's garden. That's the essence of it. There was a word in Australian culture, we still use, but it's not used so derogatory as it was back in the 1950s to the 1970s. There was a huge influx of immigrants from Greece, Italian, Spanish. And at that time in Australia, 1950s, 70s, there was a lot of, I guess, it was more of a white Australia, sort of more English or British descent. And so all of a sudden, all these immigrants came in, bringing a different style, different food. And the white Australians were calling them wogs. And it was to use that word around my father-in-law or my dad, it hurts their soul. There was one instance that my father shares is that he was having lunch in the lunchroom. He was about to open up his Tupperware container thing with his food, and someone yelled out at him and said, "Oi, wog, take your wog food and get out of here." Obviously there was garlic in there. Garlic can be quite pungent. And I remember Dad, he mentioned that he went outside to eat his food. Now, Teroni, what does it mean? Let me just spray it first. To say that this is a glorious fragrance and to say that this is in my top 5, at the end of all this, I'm going to do a top 5. Teroni, I would encourage you to go and have a look at this. So in Italy, around the same time, 1950s, a lot of the Southerners were trying to find work and they were going up to the North. The North did not like them and called them Teronis, which basically meant that they were uncouth, that they were unkept, that they were dirty. The South is known, it's a lot more rural. Footnote, if you want to see what Italy really is, you go and visit the South. Go to the North, because you got to go see the Colosseum, and you're there, you may as well see these landmarks, Venice, the gondolas. But if you want to experience the deep root of Italy, you go to the South, Calabria, Cosenza. Teroni embraces Alessandro's embracing his heritage and embracing the heritage of his grandfather, who was from the South. The fragrance really captures that region. And when I first sprayed this, to say that this was a smoky opening is an understatement. Now I've gotten used to it, so I'm a lot more familiar with the fragrance. But when I first sprayed this, the smokiness, I felt like I was at a campfire. It was the woods, the smoke, it was quite intense. It's an earthy, woody fragrance. It starts off with a wonderful smoky wood, think hardwood, but the smokiness of it is coming through. It then evolves into this beautiful woody caramel sweetness. There's a sweet element to it that is hard to pinpoint. I've got my thoughts on this and I'll share with you in a second. And then finally it settles into this smoky oud. Smoke is the theme throughout this whole fragrance. Now, it's not an overbearing, unpleasant, acrid smoke. I'm not talking about that. This is a beautiful wood. There's a sweetness to it. Now, I was going to say that the sweetness in here, because everyone says the same thing to me, so there is a sweetness that comes through because of this fragrance, and I think it's pimiento. I'm going to put it down. Again, Alessandro Galtieri does not reveal his notes, but I'm going to say that there is pimiento in here. Pimiento gives you a fruity, sweet, earthy kind of scent. And when I sort of slow my brain down and take a breath in, there is a sweetness in here. For me, this is a grounding fragrance. This is a fragrance that I would use any time of year. This is something that I would use as my day fragrance, as an evening fragrance. I find that the sillage on this is moderate to body. It has a sneakiness because sometimes, obviously, when you spray, you're getting that first burst. It pushes itself out. And then as the day progresses, I feel that it's coming in as a body scent. My wife, and I don't know whether it's the fact that she has a radar for it or that she's picking up on the fragrance. But deeper in the day, she'll ask me, what fragrance are you wearing, Teroni? And instantly she's like, I love that fragrance. This is a good grounding fragrance. This is a fragrance that you can use any day of the week. I find that for me, the fragrance, I'm going to say 7 hours, but the truth is it's 12 plus. I wake up in the morning, if I've been wearing it the day before, I wake up in the morning, I'm smelling Teroni on me. Again, it has that smoky component, but it's a wonderful, sweet, woody, smoky component that I'm actually smelling on my body still. It's interesting that as a second generation WOG, we've embraced that. I see myself, as a WOG. My daughter married an Englishman, and we always joke that we are slowly WOGifying him. Where before he was meat and 3 veggies, now he's into olives and cheese and prosciutto. I mean, go figure. And I think this is what's happened here with Alessandro, that where previously, I guess his grandfather would have seen that word Teroni as an insult, now he's embracing what that word means, which is the love of the land, the connection to family. And actually on the website, on Orto Parisi website, he does talk about understanding who you are. For this fragrance, understanding who you are, what are your roots, to go back and to accept the person that you are, or your history relating to you. So rather than feeling that Teroni is an offense, it's actually a compliment. It's actually to say that, yeah, you're a Teroni. You're from the South. Everything with Alessandro is by design. Look at the fieriness of this juice. It's just glorious to look at. And the actual inlay there is volcano. It's a volcanic rock. This is my opinion on what, so yes, you could say that it's volcano is the birth of the earth, and this is how the earth was formed, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to say that the Teronis, our good friends from the South, are fiery individuals and do not mess with them. I actually married a Teroni. So my her family are from Cosenza, from Calabria, that region there. I've had an opportunity to visit there with my wife and her family. And my wife is fiery, like the color of this thing. My mother-in-law is fiery. I think she gets even deeper in color. And I discovered that all the family over there, just as fiery, just as passionate, just as committed to their family and to good food. Actually, my wife's uncle, he does his own wine. He has his own pigs that he feeds with acorns so he can make his prosciutto. He does his own salami, and I don't even want to talk about his garden that he has and the produce that comes out of there. So to be a Teroni is a great, great thing, like a WOG. Thanks everyone, I hope you enjoyed that. Tell me what you think about Teroni. Is it a fragrance that you love? As I mentioned, for me, top 5. I'll look forward to once I do all the Orto Parisis to give you my final wrap up on that. We'll see you guys all on the next episode.